Bobby and Dallas.
Oh,
I can't believe it. First, Bobby on Dallas gets killed.
In our party line.
Let's cry longer than we ought to in order for humor. And it's all because Pete McCollins won't let us do Partyline anymore.
Pick up the telephone and man, what do I hear? A million voices talking ear to ear. Try to put it down, but they're coming in too clear. No, I'm here to tell you everything is fine. Everybody's talking on the party line, party line, party line, party line, party line. I'm here to tell you everything is fine. Everybody's talking on the party line. If you think the world is of your own design, everybody's talking on the party line. We'll even give you the dime. Everybody talking on the party line. Party line, party line, party line.
You ever spit back in a Coke? Buy a new Coke with spit back in it. New Coke with spit back. We knew you'd like it if somebody drank some and spit back in it. Makes it a little warmer, a little less carbonated, a little more sweet. Okay. Who knows what Coke might try in order to find success in the marketplace. Well, this is the final party line, as I have said a minute ago. Isn't that correct, Carter?
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Sadly so.
It is, as Carter says, a sad situation. The party line is dying. As I said there in the beginning, that's not really all that true. It's like vaguely true, but it's not all that true, to be honest with good old Pete. Actually, the fact of the matter is that Partyline doesn't have any commercial sponsors, so that's a good reason not to do it. And then it's still fun on top of that, but it's a lot of work, and that's okay, and that's a good reason to do it if you can get by with the work. So that's what we were going to do, but then Doug Loggins, the director, decided to leave town. And since he's not going to be here anymore, and he does so much work, because Doug Loggins, he works so hard. Doug Loggins, he's a hard-working guy. Since he's not going to be here anymore, we decided that there wouldn't be enough people to put the time and the energy into it to get the job done. So it's not really old Pete McCombs' fault. Also, I haven't been putting that much time into it because I've decided that I'd prefer to be a rock star to a TV star, so everybody can look forward to seeing me with my band Big Suntan in the future. We're going to be like the Beatles. So that's our goal, is to be like the Beatles. And we're going to aim at that. So sit back and welcome to the final episode of Partyline television show. We're going to have highlights from all the shows we've had before. We're going to show a little of each band that's been on. We're going to show a little of most of the pre-taped things that we've done. And that kind of thing. Also, this is being pre-taped, which brings up another reason that it's not on the air anymore, because many people found Partyline fairly shocking and fairly crude. I think in the final show I could list some of the things that people didn't like. They didn't like it. They didn't like it at a time when, in a moment of delirium, a women's, I think I can say the word, they use it in commercials all the time. At one point, can I say the word? I can't say the word. We made a mistake and showed a piece of women's apparel on the show that we shouldn't have shown. And I was in my underwear a couple of times. And all these things got a lot of public outcries. I also talked about having sex with my cat on the show, which got a lot of public outcry, although I didn't mean having sex. I said make love to my cat, and I just meant that in a friendly, sort of a petting kind of a way. And anyway, so that's one of the reasons that we're not on the show. What else was I going to talk about? I was going to say we're going to show lots of the stuff we pre-taped in bands, and we're going to have some guests. Oh, I was getting around to the fact that we can't take phone calls because of the hard, bad things we've done, they fear us, and it's being pre-taped. So this show is pre-taped actually a week ago, as you see it. So we can't take real phone calls, but we're going to take some fake phone calls just to keep it in the party line tradition. Also, while I'm sitting here, if I seem at all distracted or even spacier than usual, it's because we have a new girl here this evening, Beth, who's doing cameras, and she's got real nice legs and shorts on. So I'm not used to seeing that, so I keep staring over and thinking, yeah, you know, I'm married, but sex is sex, and I'm interested in Beth, so I'll have to look over there at her every occasionally, and just little things will pass through my mind, like, yeah, that'd be nice, okay. Then I'll come back to the show, and everything will be fine. Okie doke. Now we're going to move along with the show. Sorry, Beth, they won't show you on camera. Maybe we should. Jeff, Steve, can you get a shot of Beth over there? Can you pan over and show Beth? There we go. We're going to take a phone call in a minute, a fake phone call after we get a shot of Beth. There we go. I know that's not the full effect, but there you can see there's some nice legs there. Okay. Very succulent and meat-like. Oh, you just pulled it in front of it. Push it the other way. There you go. Now that's, you think of so yeah. No, that's how vegetarians get their meat quotient is with legs. Anyway, well, good Lord. Anyway, fake phone call number 1.
Pretty good. This is Leon Leroy Evans Jr. from Tacoma. I came down to catch the last show. And I got a question for you.
Okay.
The other day I was out, walking around with my dog, and I was telling him I was feeling kind of bad, so I was telling my dog all my problems. And then he started barking at a squirrel right in the middle of, me telling him this deep problem, and I thought, what a hoser. So I started barking at him, and the thought occurred to me, well, I can bark like a dog, and a dog has the ability to bark, like a dog. So how come a dog can't talk like a person?
I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for calling, Leon Leroy. That's our first fake phone call of this episode of Partyline. Now it's time to go ahead to our first pre-tape segment of a song from a band that's been on here before. I don't know what song we're going to go to. Not the Babbling. We're going to show the Babbling when they were on here. That was one of our first real fun shows where we cut loose and went crazy and all that kind of thing. So here we go with the Babbling. This is Monty, Gene, Linda, and Drew. Take it away, boys.
About 18?
Yeah.
Underneath, and
rock band Babbling. How are you doing this evening, Brenda?
I'm fine.
Have you enjoyed doing the show?
Yeah.
It's been good?
Have you enjoyed doing it?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a lot of work for you.
Yeah, I had to put these letters up every
Yeah.
week and take them down,
Yeah.
put them back up again.
Brenda,
Brad helped.
I don't know how much everyone got to know Brenda during the run of this show. By the way, we did, I think this is like the 15th Partyline, so that's pretty good.
That's a lot of shows.
15-hour-long entertainment shows is fairly difficult. Of course, when you grant yourself the right to not necessarily be very entertaining all the time, it makes it a lot easier to do 15 entertainment shows. Brenda has been a big help in doing the show. She's one of the unsung heroes behind
Along with?
getting it done, along with a lot of other people. Who else were you going to mention?
Well,
Somebody get a tighter shot of Brenda and me. This is a joke.
Bobby.
Yeah, well, I was going to mention
Carter.
them as they come. Brad and Bobby and Carter, all these people have helped, and as we come by, we'll talk about people who've helped. But you've helped a real lot. Brenda, by the way, is getting her doctorate degree in molecular genetics here at the University of Georgia. So that's not easy. That's not easy. She's got her master's degree, and she's been out working in industry for a couple of years.
Now I'm doing Partyline.
And putting up with me the whole time, just being whatever I am. And
Cat babysitter.
the cat babysitter. That's right. And her, well, never mind, masculine slave boy. But
Let's keep this.
it's a big job, doing the degree and helping us. But she comes, she usually helps me get the whole thing organized, putting, the letters up and bringing all the equipment down and all that kind of thing. And I just want to thank her. And she's quite a good entertainer on her own right, too, performer, actress. But because she was doing so much work with me with the show technically and everything, we didn't really get to use
See you
her
later, Chip.
as a performer that much. And she's also shy, so she's going to take off. Anyway, she's done some good things. I wish we had the Biz Challenge here queued up. Let's come here for a second. Let's tell them about the first TV thing we did. Remember in Illinois we did the original Chip Shirley show. And Brenda was a good actress on that. We did a couple of episodes, little sketches that she was good at. Why don't you tell them what the Biz Challenge was? Tell them about the Biz Challenge.
Yeah.
What she did for the Biz Challenge was... Oh, you can't describe the Biz Challenge. But anyway, it was pretty
needs to be
good.
seen.
It was like the Pepsi Challenge, except it was Pepsi versus Biz, which is really a detergent. And, of course, Biz won. She blindfolded and tasted Pepsi and Biz.
That was
and
fun.
Biz wins. And she was real funny in it, but you have to see that. Anyway, more later. You'll see her in the
Yes.
future.
Now it's time for the.
Now it's time to go to one of the first episodes, the first episode of The World of Chip that Doug and I ever recorded. This was when I first came to the station and showed Chuck Searcy some tapes and things like that. And he said, okay, you can start doing a little weekly short comedy thing and we'll show it on Around Athens. And he says, I think we've got this hippie flaky guy here who would probably pay money to do this because he likes these kind of things. And that's when good old Doug came in for the first time and I met him. He sat down and we talked, and next day we went out and shot this, which was the first episode of The World of Chip. This is back in September, November, December, something like that. So here it is.
The world is a crazy place, filled with love and hate. So pack your bags, let's take a trip. Come to the world of Chip.
It's a real nice world. I think you might like it in here. I don't know. Come on in and give it a try. Flap your wings. See what I have in this box? That's perfect.
Hi. My name is Chip Shirley, and welcome to the world of Chip. Since we're new to each other and don't know each other very well or anything, I want to talk to you some about myself so you'll get to know me. And then you'll like me, and then I'll get to do the show for a long time. And the first thing I want to do is introduce you to my wife, Brenda. She's inside. Let me go get her, okay?
No!
Door's locked. Just a second.
Get out of here! No! No!
Ow! She doesn't want to be on TV right now. She has a headache or something like that. So what I'll probably try to do is tell you something else, like about my cats or something like that. We have 2 cats. One's named Jenkins and one's named Malachi. Let me get them for you. Jenkins, come here. This is Jenkins. He's a big cat, and Malachi is little and harder to catch than he is, so I probably won't be bringing her out. But when we moved here, we thought it would be a real good place for the cats to live. But we were wrong, because when they come outside, there are chipmunks over here in the bushes. And sometimes Jenkins goes in there and catches them. And I'm lying on the couch on Sunday afternoon just reading the paper and having a good time, and I hear this sound like, and it's Jenkins in there with the chipmunk, and I start screaming, Jenkins! Jenkins! I get my broom from Biloxi, Mississippi. See the stripes? I go in here, Jenkins! Jenkins, put it down! Jenkins! Ah, Jenkins, put the chipmunk down! Jenkins! Oh, my God! Brother, you got a chipmunk again. Look at it. It's bleeding. Oh, look at it. And then we have to go bury the chipmunk. We have a chipmunk funeral. Over here, have a chipmunk funeral. Goodbye. Goodbye, Wally the chipmunk. Goodbye, Wally. Fade away on that. Hey dudes, welcome back to the show. It's just dawning on me that if we're going to keep showing some of these World of Chip things, I'm going to have to talk less. Because it's
quicker.
Quicker. So I'm going to practice that right now.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
finished.
it.
I'm done.
Good, me too.
This is Brad Baxter.
Thank you.
Brad Baxter's been big help with the show for about the second half of it. He didn't come in till then, but he's done some performing things, did the news one night, which was real good, and helped with a lot of technical things. And I just wanted to thank you, on the air, say thanks.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, well, good.
It's still great.
Good. Will it be great when it's over?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay.
Is that the real thing you got there?
That's the real thing. And there's so many jokes I want to make, but I realize that we want this show to go on the air, so I better just cool it.
Oh, okay.
Because you said, is that the real thing? And at that point, I could have made a joke about the bottle because, well, maybe some people can use their imaginations and figure that out.
Maybe so.
Anyway, I can't even talk about it because I'll get in trouble. Carter, do you have anything to say?
Not really about the bottle.
Okay.
I have something to say later about this bottle.
Okay. Bulldog Man Carter will talk to us later about the blue bottle he's got in his hand there. Right now, we're going to go to, how do I tell which camera it is? It looks like I'm on this one, I think. No, it's not the right one. Okay, we're going to go in a minute to Carter Scott's Barnyard Report, who happens to be sitting next to me. But before we go to Carter's Barnyard Report, I just wanted to say, Brad, do you have any parting shots, any final words of wisdom, anything you wanted to say here on this episode of Partyline?
Well, I have to say thank you for the experience, my first television debuts here. I enjoyed it, like I said, and I figured it was good. Good.
And it could even be a part of your future, too, because I know that you're interested in technical things. And by the way, we'll just get that out there right now. Doug, you might can talk to Mr. McCommons or to Clay about this, but Brad has the energy and the inclination to maybe be like an intern here, and he would even be willing to do the boring the church service, which we'll just bleep it. All I said was boring. Anyway, technically, sometimes it's difficult to keep your eyes open doing that one, I guess. So he's up for that, so maybe they could work something out like that for you.
Maybe.
Thanks for coming by. Right now, it's time for another in the long line of classics here, Carter Scott's Barnyard Report, which people are still talking about here in Athens, GA.
I love Carter.
Here today to interview a chicken for Partyline. Let's ask the chicken question. Mr. Chicken, what do you think of the University of Georgia?
Well, I say, son, the frats are really weird, man. I mean, I say, son, they're really weird. Do you understand me?
What do you mean?
They think they can abuse us chickens. Well, we never, and I mean we will never go near that frat house again. I say, do you really understand what I'm saying, son? I really love Fashion Batty. I lost my head over the drummer.
Did you score last night? I mean, get some hen?
No, son, we were too chicken.
So you went home and pulled the old rooster, huh?
Well, I say, son, let's just say that someone definitely choked the chicken.
How'd your head feel the next day?
Oh, I felt light as a feather. I say, son, do you understand me? Light as a feather.
I'm here today for Partyline to interview a horse. Mr. Horse, how much money do you make when you race?
If I can get my owner out in the field and chase him till he falls, then I can get his wallet.
What do you do when you get to town?
I go to the horse wash. It's like a car wash, but I just run through it.
What do you do for fun when you go to town?
Well, we go to a square dance and dance with the Philadelphia Phillies. Boy, those Phillies are uptown.
And the last question, when you go to the bars, what do you commonly drink?
Jack Daniels.
We're here today to interview some pigs for Partyline. Let's ask our first questions to the pigs. Mr. Pig, what is your favorite food?
Well, I like all food. Most anything in my trough I'll eat. If I like food that's messy and wet.
Mr. Pig, what do you do in your spare time?
Oh, I go to the swimming pool and get a tan. Also, I'll look great for Miss Piggy. Boy, do I go hog wild when I see her. Yes, I do.
And Mr. Pig, final question. What do you do when you go out to the bars, as far as what's your favorite band to see?
Well, mostly pig bands. I like bands with pigs in them and music related to pigs. Mostly anything referring to pigs. I like the band The Pigs. And like I said, anything pig-ish or pig-related I usually like. So it's mostly pig music and, yeah, pig bands.
This has been Carter Scott with Partyline doing the Barnyard Report. E-I-E-I-O.
Welcome back to Partyline. Thanks to Carter Scott again for the Barnyard Report. That's okay. As you can hear over to the side, it's Justin. I don't even know Justin's last name. Justin Hornbugler. And he's going to do a little music for us. Justin has the honor of following a long line of great musical guests we've had here on Partyline. And he will be the final musical guest we have here on Partyline. So here's Justin, the one-man band.
Am I on yet?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Justin, why don't you come over and sit down for a second? Can you make that come back? Can you turn it off? That was real good. I think the way we've got the thing technically set up, you can see he's still doing some of the footage. That's what it was looking like. It really looked good. I think the way we're set up, that's on tape, hopefully, and not just going out of there and not on tape. We didn't even send our machine on, did we, Brenda? Anyway, thanks a lot. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome, Chip. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Good.
As usual.
Thanks for coming.
Even though I've only been on once.
When were you on before?
Oh, it was the famous Meridian show.
That's right. I forgot about it. I remember now. Justin, local musician, artist, person.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying before, you are developing your sound, or you're not going commercial with it yet. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Because who'd want to dance to that?
Oh, I could dance to it.
Oh, really? Good. Okay.
Could mentally dance to it. Anyway, that was real good. I hope Doug did some good things with the visuals too, and I think that'll be on tape so you can see it later. It really was looking nice.
Thank you.
Most people probably don't understand much about what you were doing there to put the stuff together. Would you like to explain it a little bit?
No.
Okay, good. Just keep it a mystery. Just let them.
No, there's nothing to it. There's
really nothing to it. Nothing to it.
Nothing to it.
Turn on the switches?
That's right.
Well, why do I want to see you do it then? Why don't I just do it myself?
Well, because I'm the only one doing it.
That's okay. That's good. No, it's more to it than that. Once you realize that there's this funny feedback in the room and you wish it went away, then you can ha! Where's it coming from? Ha! I hear this ringing sound. I don't know what it is though. Oh, it's a suitcase?
Yeah.
Anyway, once you know all the electronics, I know it's simple, but it's not easy to learn how to, get it all hooked up.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, what I've done is assimilated 21st century technology into new forms.
Yeah.
And it's a whole new art form. It's a whole new medium. And I'm on the high frontiers of new technology and making music that people haven't even heard before.
Wow.
And probably won't hear.
Again?
Ever again.
Well, I'm just so blown away, Justin.
Chip, before you go on, there's something I should say.
Okay.
I feel partly responsible for this whole Partyline fiasco.
You do?
I do.
How come?
Do you remember that show when Meridian was on?
Yeah.
And we had those large nudie playing cards?
Uh-huh.
And I was parading them in front of the camera?
Uh-huh.
I can't help but feel a little bit responsible for this whole thing. Fact Chip.
We hadn't forgotten that.
It's okay, Justin. It's okay.
No, I know. I know. Bygones are bygones. And it's just something I did. I got carried away in the spur of the moment. And I'd like to apologize to the audience, too. And maybe someday there'll be another party line. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Justin, for that confession. That was almost as good as Tammy Faye in the PTL Club. Really good.
Thanks, Chip.
Well, I tell you, I think what it boils down to, we don't want to be too political on this thing, is that I believe that as artists, Justin, and I think I can speak to you as a fellow artist, we need essentially creative freedom. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, Chip.
Exactly what you mean.
Exactly what you mean.
Now, it's not that we want to do a pornographic show or just concentrate on things that would be X-rated, but in art, you need to really be fully creative. You need the freedom to do whatever you want to, and some of it might fall in what would be called an X-rated situation. But if you really want to be free and creative, you can't be thinking about avoiding certain things. Now, I'm not putting down Observer Television. By the way, when I mentioned Chuck Searcy earlier, I wanted to thank him very much for allowing us this opportunity. It's been very nice, and I still appreciate it.
Me too.
Thanks to Chuck. But when you're in a public television situation, you can't really sit back and say, I'm just going to be wide open. It has to be controlled more than probably we.
What does that mean?
Roll. It means I'm boring. That's what they do.
Wait a minute. Now, excuse me. Now, wait a second. Part of this, if I may interrupt, part of the community service is serving artists, and let's just let the artists talk shop here for a minute, okay? So, any other artists watching, please, feel free to sit down and listen for a while. And the rest of the artists, we'll have something else for you later. Okay? Yeah, but hopefully in the future with cable television and everything, especially, there'll be more of a market for a place where, if you're on cable, for example, and you're on a pay channel, it's easy enough to say, well, you didn't have to buy the channel, so you get what you're in for. Here, it's more like it's on whether they wanted it to be or not. So you can see how people could say, well, I didn't say I wanted an X-rated thing, and yet that's what I ended up with. But anyway, I didn't want to go on too much about that. Well, your point's well taken, Chip.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for being here.
And I'm
right
sure
now,
the artist community stands behind you 100%.
Well, probably. Thanks. I hope so.
I, for one, do.
Good, thank you. We're going to go on now to a pre-tape bit. It's either going to be another band bit or another episode of World Chip, I think is what we're going to do. Take it away, Mr. Director Man, who said I was boring.
The world is a crazy place, filled with love and hate. So pack your bags, let's take a trip up to the world of Chip.
It's a real nice world. I think you might like it in here. I don't know. Come on in and give it a try. Flap your wings. See what I have in this box? That's perfect. Cans in. Today's episode of The World of Chip was brought to you by Red Pop, a ticket soft drink. Hurt my tooth. And
Talk Kitchen. Talk Kitchen. And bags. All you need for survival in this world. Talk Kitchen can bags. Talk Kitchen can bags. They're Talk Kitchen. Kitchen can bags.
and by kitty litter. It doesn't work that well, but without it, oh, what a mess.
Good morning. Welcome to the world of Chip. It's good sound. I want to talk to you a little bit this morning about a problem we have. I don't like being negative on the show, but it has to do with some of the correspondence we've been receiving here on the show, and I'm sure that the people who are sending this correspondence are probably aware that it's not really the nicest thing to do or the best way to communicate or handle yourself in a public adult situation. I'm talking about some of the sexy mail I've been receiving lately. Some of the mail referring to me sexually and getting specific into things like underpants and things like that I might be wearing. And you know who you are. And I don't want any more talk about what I would look like if I was wiggling something in something pink. Or something like that. You know?
I don't want any more sexy mail. You hear what I'm saying? I don't want any more sexy mail. No more sexy mail. You know what I mean? Cut it out.
Okay, welcome back to Partyline. A mainstay of the show for about the last 2/3 has been Bobby Darnell. He's done some wonderful things. I don't know if we're going to get him queued up and shown today, but he was the super safety gorilla. He was the man with the car wrecks. He was the original heavy fan of the show who'd call in all the time for the first few episodes we had and say how much he liked it. And finally...
he also beat you up on the show.
Yeah, and then he is a heavy fan. And finally, he started taking part in the show, and now here's Bobby Darnell with another episode of Bobby's World.
Thanks, Chip. I found out just last week this is the last Partyline, and of course I mourned and poured ashes on my head and all that stuff. And what I decided to do, I had a ton of stuff, we'd come up with to do on the show, and so. And since it would take about the rest of the show to do them all, I'm going to do little bits and pieces of it. One was called Just Kidding, which got a lot of good response from people I showed it to. And what it basically involved was just showing you a little bit about myself and letting you get to know me a little bit better. And one of the things I thought would be interesting was to show y'all I had a mole removed behind my ear when I was 14. And I had a second cousin who worked at the hospital. She worked as a surgeon's technician or assistant or something. And she first started taking out people's appendixes, and I asked her if she could get me one, and she said she couldn't. So anyway, I went to her when I had this mole removed and asked her if she could save it for me, and she did. So I'd like to show you my mole. Had removed behind my ear. This is it. I had it in a jar, but the jar broke, so this is it. Just kidding. That's the thing for the just kidding. Get it? Another thing I did was, as Chip mentioned, was car wrecks, and I had another car wreck since then. I'm not making this up. As a matter of fact, this is a Porsche here, and it's a girl in Atlanta was driving the Porsche. This is my Honda Accord, even though it's not a Honda Accord. We're going along, and these guys come up in this truck, and we're traveling along Peachtree, and they're yelling nasty things at her like this. And so I think, well, this is not nice. So what I do is I pull out front and I slam on brakes. These guys crash into me, and they get real mad, so they tear out after me. So they're trying to catch me. She's catching up with me too. And so finally, I pull this real cool move, and I head straight for a telephone pole, and I pull off the last minute. These guys wreck. And so she comes up and says, "Hey, well, can I buy you a drink?" I go, "Sure." And so we go riding along, and we're riding along. She gets tired because we're going up to the mountains. And so we get up to the North Georgia mountains up near North Carolina border, and she gets sleepy, so I'm driving. Anyway, these guys, they get another truck, and they follow us, and they're chasing us. And so I come up to this cliff, and they go off the cliff. In the meantime, I hit a tree, and we're hanging like this. And she's still asleep, and so I get out of the car, and I guess it was adrenaline. I pulled the car back up, and then when I did that, the car landed on top of me, and so I was hurt. And so the ambulance came, and I was unconscious. And so next thing I know, I was in this hospital in this oxygen tent. And this is something I've always wanted to do, is to be laying down in an oxygen tent, coming out from a coma. And I say this real good-looking girl's life, and I'm going, oh. And there she is, and she's going, my hero. So that happened last week. I thought I'd tell you that. And another thing, thank you, Chip, Brenda, everyone. Another thing is a little bit we had worked up called Shortcuts in Life, and which I have found many of them throughout history in my life. Little shortcuts that help you along. And one is, if you ever play chess, like Brad and I were playing a game of chess before the show, and this is what you do if you're ever playing chess. We could get this on the thing. It'd be good. Okay, it's Brad's turn. So you go, Brad. It was your turn when you left.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Haha, got your queen.
Okay, see, everybody knows that your queen is your most important player. So if you lose your queen, you're not going to win the game. So what you do is you go, okay, I quit. I'll save you a lot of time. It may be a baby thing to do, but believe me, it'll save you a lot of time. And last of all, since this is the last party line, and I know a lot of people are watching because we're going to publicize this thing like you wouldn't believe, I've got the people out there, anybody out there associated with Stan Smith Adidas tennis shoes, Honda Accord cars, Michelin steel-belted radial tires, which I desperately need some, Honeycomb and Sugar Pop cereals, Fender Stratocasters, and tons of other stuff. I got a list of all the stuff that I use in my personal life that maybe we can work out some kind of endorsement deal. And so this will be a profitable thing for me in the end. That's it. And now we're going back to a pre-tape thing for Club Gaga. Thank you very much.
I can't believe you sold out, buddy.
I didn't sell out.
That was good, buddy. Thanks to Club Gaga. They were a lot of fun to have on. I don't remember all those guys' names. I remember Peter, and I remember, who knows, you know the guys in Club Gaga, don't you, Steve? Peter, and I think there's a Rob, and, oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm just spacing out here on these names. I shouldn't have brought it up. You're in the music scene, Justin. You don't know all the guys' names?
I know.
Anyway, Brian. Well, yeah, sometimes on and off, but I don't think he was in on that thing. Anyway, I get the feeling this was a really boring show. But anyway, let's move along and be less boring. Okay, now we're going to go to another pre-tape thing, I guess. I'm tired of the humor, but I guess we'll go to... Oh, no, that one would be a good one. Yeah, okay. This is a thing that... Oh. Stretch! This is me stretch. I know how we'll stretch to fill time. We'll just stretch. Do some stretching exercises. Stretch for a while. Doug Loggins, our world-famous director, wrote and everything this next bit. This is Doug Loggins' Muse. This is a World of Chip episode. Take it on. Take care. Go ahead and do it.
Filled with love and hate, so good back. Let's take a good trip up to the world of Chip.
It's a real nice world.
welcome to the world of Chip. Stay. A lot of people talk to me about where I get my ideas from and things like that, and they think I must be a pretty crazy guy, really. They come up to me and say things like, "You're really insane to come up with all those ideas," and I usually just go along with them and say, "Yeah, it's true. I'm kind of an insane guy, but I think it's time that I come clean about what's going on, where I get my ideas from and everything." Stay. The truth of the matter is I used to be a pretty dull and boring guy. I didn't have a good imagination until about 5 years ago. One day I was sitting around thinking to myself, gee, I'd give anything if I had a good imagination and that kind of a thing. And then I heard a knock at the door. It was really spooky. And when I looked up, it was this guy all dressed in black. And he said he'd give me what I wanted for the price of a soul. Well, it just so happened I had one in the fridge left over from dinner the night before, so I got it out and gave it to him. I figured he must have been really hard up to come knocking on people's door and asking for food like that. But in return, he gave me this box, and then he disappeared in a very dramatic fashion. What could be in the box, I wondered? Well, sir, it was just what I needed. It was a muse, and I've still got it. Do you want to see it? It's kind of scary. He's probably kind of hungry because I haven't fed him yet today. But I tell you, I haven't had any leftover garbage since I first got this thing. He eats everything. Garbage, gristle. Be nice now. Watch this. Now here's the neat part.
Okay. Used car salesman comes into a dry goods store looking for the last dodo and says, "Do you know what you can do to stop Western civilization from crumbling into anarchistic chaos?" And the store owner says, "I can give you the room, but you'll have to take the bath yourself."
Well, he hasn't been working that well lately, I guess. I think maybe I treat him too good. Why do you always do that to me? Maybe if I left you out in the rain or something like that, you'd work a little better. You're worse than the cat. Well, so long from the world of Chip.
You! Get out of here! Don't bite me!
It's kind of fun sitting back and watching all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Neato. Okay, in a minute, Doug, if you can go ahead and get that another song queued up, we'll go ahead and go to that. And maybe do Carter's bit, which we're supposed to be doing now after that. Why don't you get Jeff to give me a cue when he has another song queued up. Until then, I think I'm just going to... He's ready anytime? Okay, I was going to tell a story about the time that my mother tried to deep fry me, but since the song's ready, let's go see who. Third ear. Here is the third ear. That's it. Just get stabbed.
And now, for your listening pleasure, the third ear.
Tom, nice talking to you. Thank you. Right now, we'd like to open up. We'd like to dedicate this one to all those people out there who can really think for themselves, who can really feel free for themselves.
Now, these things only come in hour-long lengths. Did we change it? Was it that quick? Well, in that case, I think we're going to have to change the tape. These things only come in hour-long lengths.